All right. Good morning. Sorry, you guys, we had some technical difficulties, but just wanted to say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this at, from wherever in the world. Let me know in the chat area. And today, I want to reconnect with you because it's halfway through the year. Some of you are crushing it. Amazing. Keep it up. Keep the momentum going. Some of you have started uploading and gaining momentum. So keep doing whatever you got to do, optimizing, improving your video content, connecting with the new audience that's finding you guys. And the reason I'm doing this, though, is for the people that are stuck. Maybe you're putting up videos and not getting views. Maybe people aren't subscribing to your channel. Maybe you haven't even started yet. We're going to be talking about that. I'm going to be sharing some inspiring stories of mine, of people that I know. We're going to be talking about maybe some of the reasons that are stopping you. I'm going to answering your questions. In fact, we've got a special guest. The special guest being today. Let me see if I can. Oh, great. You know what's so funny, Chris? My mouse just died on me. You guys, wait up one second. Sorry, technical difficulties. Let me just fix this. Life of a YouTuber. You never know when something like this is going to happen. Good thing I'm prepared. All right, let me get Chris on here. All right, Chris, over to you.
What's going on, everybody? Nice Chris here, and I will be in the comments answering your questions or actually sending them over to Benji over here. But I'm really excited because this topic in general is so relatable to everybody that lives and breathes. So, Benji, I'm excited for this live. Let's get it started.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Again, you guys, we're going to be watching out for your questions. I'm going to be answering as many as possible. We're going to try to get you guys going, get you unstuck so that you can crush it on YouTube. Let's go.
This video is brought to you by vidIQ, the #1 Chrome extension for YouTubers looking for on-point data analysis, research resources, and enhanced video creator tools. Start getting more views in less time today by signing up for free at vidiq.com/influence. That's vidiq.com/influence.
Woo! So, I got my tea. Let me know what you guys are drinking this morning. I know Chris's audio is a little bit low. We might just have to roll with it. But I'm excited. You know, it's sunny out here in Seattle, Washington, which always gets my energy up. But it's often raining. It's cloudy, and that can get depressing and sad. And same thing when things aren't working on YouTube. The struggle is real. And I know that's not a place that people want to be. So we're going to be talking about this. I just want to give a few quick shout outs to some people on here watching. Let me say hi to Foodie Marie. We've got Maximalist Minibus. We got Lissa, Alex Decor, Liam Van Brandt, the Peter J Show. What's up, you guys? Let me know. Again, where you guys are watching from. We're going to be looking out for your comments and questions, obviously. But let's talk about this. You know, the #1 thing that is really sucky about YouTube when you're first starting out, especially if you're a beginner, is you're just figuring everything out, right? Everything is new. You're a beginner. You're not sure about what all the right moves are, what tools you utilize, where the priorities should be. And that's why we have this channel, Video Influencer, because we're helping you build your influence and kind of impact with online videos. That's why Sean and I wrote a book like this, YouTube Secrets, which combines 20 years of experience that help you guys crush on YouTube with your channels, especially if you're a beginner. Because we have made mistakes. We know what the struggle is like, and we know that there's challenges and it can be stressful. The one thing I want to remind you of first is do not be afraid of the stress, of the struggles, of the challenges. Just know, if anything, this is just a requirement of success. It is part of learning what is going to work and what's not going to work. It reminds me of one of my favorite stories. And the reason he's so famous is because of his stress and his struggles. All right. So we've got Michael Jordan. Yes. Greatest of all time, has won 6. That's right. 6 championships during his career in the NBA. Now, some people might argue that LeBron James is the greatest. I don't know. I think he might have retired or is talking about it. Steph Curry is amazing, even though he did lose a championship. But a couple things about Michael Jordan. Number one, he did win 6 championships. Period. He won 6 championships. No one has ever done that. Obviously, he has tons of stats, but there's a lot of other people that have even better stats. I'm not a big NBA fan. Seattle lost our Sonics, so ever since I haven't watched a lot of NBA. But one of the things about Michael Jordan is his story. And let's talk about his story. Everybody knows one of the most famous parts of his history in NBA is his high school team dropped him, or they denied him from being on the team, I believe in his early years in high school. I don't know if it was his early years or senior year, but it's a famous story. So, would he be the same player he is right now if he didn't get dropped? There's a high chance that maybe not. Maybe he got injured. Maybe it changed the trajectory of his career. Maybe he wouldn't have tried as hard to get back on the team. I don't know. But that struggle is something that's part of his story. And I believe Michael Jordan embraced it. He probably used it as fuel for him to be more motivated, to work harder, to practice more, and be the great player that he is. Let's talk about more struggles that Michael Jordan has. Now, unfortunately, he got into the NBA, and a couple years into winning some championships, he had a death in his family. His father passed away, which is hard for anybody, but he took it very, very hard. And in fact, he announced that he's quitting the NBA in the prime of his career, which is very rare. Especially, this guy was on fire. Michael Jordan, in the, I believe, the late 80s or 90s, whenever it was just winning championships. He was the poster child for the NBA. Everybody loved him. And guess what he did? He joined baseball. That's right. I know it's totally the right move for an NBA player to join the Major League Baseball, career. But that was one of his passions. The reason he did that was because originally, when he was younger, he was into both baseball and basketball. I believe his father was more passionate about baseball. I don't know what it was, but there was part of it. Did he do well in baseball? Not really. In fact, it wasn't really a great year for him. But again, part of his story. He had to get away from the NBA to pursue something that he was passionate for, to be able to reconnect with what he really, really was great at, which was being a basketball player. So, moving on. 1 year later, I believe, he was only out for 1 year. He goes back into basketball and he wins championships left and right. Here's a kind of a sad picture for me. He's scoring on a guy from the Seattle Sonics, which I believe they beat him in the championships or beat him out of the playoffs. And now we don't have the Sonics, unfortunately. Anyways, the reason I bring up Michael Jordan is I believe one of the reasons he's the greatest of all time, even though there's some stats that people argue would go against that statement, is because of his story, his struggles, his stresses. So embrace the stresses that you're feeling, embrace the struggle that you're going through, and just know that the challenges is part of the process. It's the journey that's going to lead to success. Anyways, just wanted to say hi to some more people, but just know that I was reading some of the comments and the questions earlier on in the chat box before we went live, and I know some of you haven't uploaded in a while, if at all, this whole year, or maybe you're uploading and you're not getting the views you want. Well, look at that and adjust from it. Don't look at it as if like the world was telling you shouldn't be doing this. If this is something you're passionate about, the videos you're putting up are aligned with what you're really into and you love to do, then there is a possibility there that you can change things. You just have to be willing to look at it objectively, take constructive criticism, listen to people like myself, to Sean, to other experts, watch other people's channels. And again, don't judge them or look at them and be like, oh, this is why they got it. This, like, ask yourself, what is it that they're doing that's making them progress, that's growing their channel, that's getting them the tons of views that you want, and apply those things into how you create videos, how you connect with audiences. So, Chris, you ready to give some shout outs to some people? I'm going to try to fix your audio while we're doing this, but go ahead and give some shout outs to people.
Got it. So I actually got some super chats.
Okay, cool.
From Auto Repair Tips, just saying thanks for the help for $5. So thank you so much for that super chat. I have another one from Sparks Family, which is a regular viewer. So thank you so much for viewing every single Saturday. Saying we have reached 1.1 subs thanks to video influencers. Thank you, Benji. The information you share with us is all priceless. And I could hear myself.
Sweet. Okay, I'm glad you can hear yourself,
Yep.
Chris. Thank you, everybody, for your super chats and for supporting us here on Video Influencers. As you guys know, this is what Sean and I love to do. We love to support people that are just starting out, that are getting going and having momentum. And I mean, just the same, people that are crushing it. Influencers, rock stars, there's I won't name anybody, but there's a lot of people that have 1 million plus subscribers that are subscribed to our channel, and we're honored that during that part of your journey that we can still be of value. And this is the thing, being stuck isn't isolated to people that haven't uploaded or just starting out. I can tell you from my experience, there's been many times where I felt stuck, where I questioned, is this really what I want to be doing? Or maybe I wasn't enjoying the process because sometimes I've got to deal with people, or there's certain aspects of the business that really aren't my element. But all of it is it's just things that happen. It's called life. So just know that you're not alone. And hopefully what you're seeing in the chat area is showing that. And so the key here, and we're going to talk about a few other things, but the key here is make sure you have a positive mindset. Make sure you're feeding your brain the right information and hang out with the right people. One of the things I say is you don't want to hang out with the wimps and the whiners. You want to hang out with the doers and the solution makers, the people that are looking for solutions, not making excuses. Okay, so have the right people around you so that you feel inspired and motivated and want to get up and do things. Because if you do hang out with those other people, the negative Nancys, the wimps and the whiners, you just start thinking like that. You start feeling. And so part of being stuck, especially those of you that haven't uploaded, is maybe you have no confidence, or you're scared, or you have low self-esteem. And so those people are not going to help that at all. If you don't have those positive people in your life, one suggestion I would say is watch more YouTube videos that put those positive people in front of you. One of the influencers I love watching the most is Gary Vaynerchuk. Not because I want to be a media mogul like him, or sell wine like he used to back in the day, or even be necessarily like a social media guru like he is, but because his positive words, his message of inspiration is what gets me going in the morning. And so if there's people that are doing the opposite of that, you got to cut them out. All right, getting back to what we're talking about, some of you may be putting up videos and you're not getting the views you want. You're listening to what Sean and I are teaching you. You're watching other experts. You're optimizing. You're improving little by little. But for whatever reason, you're not getting the results you want. Well, guess what? There's still hope. I want to share with you one of the most inspiring stories on YouTube I know. A man named JP Sears. Now, let me know in the comments area if you know who this person is. His channel name is Awaken with JP, and this is his character, Ultra Spiritual JP. Now, let's actually take a look a little bit at his channel. Here's a little video showing what his channel is all about. 800,000 subscribers, 90 million views. On his Facebook, he actually has 2.2 million followers, and one of his videos, that's right, one of his videos literally have 64 million views on it. As you can see, they're kind of comedy sketches. This is his character, Ultra Spiritual JP. Yes, he knows people like Lewis Howes. He's invited to all kinds of shows now. I believe even Tony Robbins had him at his event, and he is just crushing it on YouTube. Funny guy, talks about taboo topics, definitely not politically correct. But one thing that a lot of people don't know about him is he's just an amazing human being. And so I've had the honor of knowing him for quite a while. And this is the thing about JP. He didn't always start out this way. Let me show you how he started out on YouTube right now. I'm going to switch to my browser here. This is his video. You guys can't hear, but literally his whole video is like this. It's a talking head video. This was his first video back in, 2013. And for 2 years, he had videos like this. Self-help videos, giving suggestions and advice on how to fix depression, how to get out of a rut, love, relationships. Let's go to one of his newer videos after that. Again, just a talking head video, no B-roll. Now, these videos have tons of views now, but when he first started, when I first met him, I'd say about a year or two into his YouTube career, he was getting maybe 100, 200, 300 views. Nothing wrong with that, but I know everyone on here can agree that they want to get more views or as many views as possible. Now, this is the ironic thing. When I saw his channel, because we were both invited to an event to speak, he was hosting some retreat exercises. I was speaking about YouTube and online video. I told them that I felt he should double down and do more of these type of videos, and just know that it's a niche space. So what I mean by niche space, it's a part of YouTube that is going to have a smaller audience because people, and this is what's so crazy, actually, it's probably more so than what I said. There aren't as many people using YouTube to fix depression. Maybe they're actually going to doctors or to psychologists or wherever, and very few are using YouTube. I said that's going to continue to grow and grow, and your channel will grow. Now, when I said grow and grow, I didn't think 800,000 subscribers or a video having 60 million views kind of grow. I just meant that there's going to always be people out there that need help, and he was able to provide it. Even if the videos were kind of boring, kind of stoic, kind of slow, no B-roll, there's still tons of value for people looking for that. Now, the person that was hosting that event, ironically, probably gave him the best advice of his whole career, which was, he was this person that was very stoic, very serious in his videos, helping people with their issues and their problems. But he was a very funny person. I didn't actually experience that when I was around him, but Daniel, who hosted the retreat, actually knew that he was a very funny guy, always cracking jokes. But he only did it privately in front of friends. He didn't put it into his videos. So Daniel suggested, who is also another YouTuber, another influencer, that he should highlight that part of his personality in his videos. So the next video he had, in fact, let me switch again to the videos. After that conversation was this one. Let me just show it to you a little bit. You guys don't even need the audio. Yes. JP coming out of a trash can. How many of you want to take tips and advice from somebody coming out of the trash can? Not me. But if you guys want to see what that video is about, I would highly suggest it. Just go to Awaken with JP on YouTube. But that was a comical video, and that video blew up. I believe, let me see here. It got 700,000 views on YouTube. I believe it got even more views. At the time, he didn't put it up to Facebook right away, but eventually he did. That was one of a piece of advice that I gave him, because he thought that his views would be cannibalized. And at the time, my wife and I, we were uploading a lot of videos and getting views there. And so he uploaded to Facebook and was able to blow up. Point being, he was stuck. When I say stuck, he was getting a few hundred views, maybe a couple thousand once in a while when his videos would hit, but he wasn't having the growth he wanted. And from the advice of a friend, to utilize part of his personality that for whatever reason he wasn't implementing into his content, he had a complete rebrand because this video kicked off a whole surge of views, which created a fan base that led him to where he's at today. Almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He's going to get there for sure. 90 million views on his channel. And then we talked about his Facebook. And I think safe to say that he probably has over 100 million views on Facebook alone. 60 million of it is just one video. So probably way more of it. Because he was willing to bring out the comedic side of his personality. So, bringing it back to you. If you're uploading videos and you're not getting those views, but you're optimizing, you're doing the research for titles, you spent a lot of time on great thumbnails, but you're just not getting the hits, you're not getting the traffic that you feel you should be getting, there might be something in your content that you need to change up. What I love about YouTube is it's not suppressing anybody down outside of the people breaking the guidelines. And I know there's this whole mess about, what's politically correct or attacking people and what's news and what's maybe abuse. But outside of that, YouTube wants to bring out great content. So if you're not getting views, but you're doing all the best practices and you're optimizing, the reality is you should get views eventually. So if you're in it for 2 or 3 years, especially for those of you that have uploaded 100 plus videos, it takes 100 videos, I feel, to really learn how to get going, what the basic principles are, that maybe you need to make a change. Maybe there's something in your personality that you can bring out, resources that you're not utilizing, experiences that you haven't brought to the table and implemented into your content that will make the change, just like JP Sears. So ask those questions of yourself. Maybe spend some time away from YouTube, kind of like Jordan did. I know it's a weird example because he's an NBA champion, but he took a whole year off and came back and was, I'd say, not just as good, but even better, and won 4 more championships. So maybe you need to take some time away from your channel, or just be honest with yourself. I think one of the best pieces of advice from Gary Vaynerchuk is this advice of self-awareness. Maybe you're not tapping into your true passion. Maybe you're doing something that was inspired because you saw it working for other people. So whatever it is, just dive into aspects of your content, maybe that you've been avoiding because there's a little fear there, or maybe you're not diving into those parts of personality that you feel other people won't like JP. This is what's so crazy about JP's whole story. Now he's speaking on stages all over the country. He's I'd say a highly paid speaker. He is doing comedy bits all over comedy joints. He's doing a tour actually from city to city. He's got people coming out to his shows all over the country. And his videos continue to do very, very well. If he didn't integrate his comedy or let the comedy basically take over what he was doing, arguably he wouldn't be helping as many people. If you ever go to one of his shows or watch his videos, there's an underlying message still of problems or issues or taboos that people are having, dogma, I guess, that he's addressing. And in a way, even though not everybody, maybe 90% of the video views that he gets are just people that are watching it for pure entertainment, there's still those people that are starting to ask those questions that he is helping out. He's just doing it in a different way. And remember, influence is key. That's why Sean and I never recommend to focus just on the views or the subscribers, because ultimately it's all about the value. But don't get me wrong, if you got tons of views, if you got a huge influence, there's so much more opportunity and there's so much more change that you can make in the world. So, with that being said, Chris, are you ready with a question? Let me know.
Yeah, actually,
All right.
I am.
Let's get a question going and then we'll move on.
Got it. So, what I've been seeing a lot too, just a quick comment before I get into the question, is a lot of people are relating to this topic because, like how I said, it's very relatable when it comes to everyone's circumstance, when it comes to YouTube or even work in general. So, good thing is we're all in the same boat at some point.
Yes.
But what I've seen a lot here, which I'm going to ask the question, is people are very concerned because there's a multiple questions, so I want to relate to all of them. Is most people that make it on YouTube are funny?
Okay.
What if you're not funny?
Okay.
Is there a way still to make it?
So number one, I disagree that most people are funny on YouTube. I believe that funny people get a lot of attention. That's what I would definitely say. I do believe that funny people let's just talk about this real quick. Laughter is universal. People love to laugh. I generally am a serious person, but I love watching comedies. Right now I'm watching Key and Peele, which is a Comedy Central show that used to be on, and I crack up. But does that mean that that's the only thing I'm doing or watching on YouTube? No. But because it's universal, everybody loves to laugh. It's kind of like food. Everybody loves to eat, right? So food videos can get tons of views. There's some channels that are blowing up right now because people just love seeing delicious things and they'll watch it over and over, similar to laughing. The reason I disagree, and I know for sure that that most people aren't, that it's not true that most people are funny on YouTube. We've interviewed 100+ people on this channel, video influencers, and I would say a majority of them aren't funny or their content isn't funny. So they might be funny, they might crack jokes here and there. I like to think that once in a while I can crack a joke, but generally speaking, their content isn't focused on the comedy aspect, like JP Sears. And one person it brings up is this guy named John Kohler. He's a gardener. And when you watch his videos, you can learn about growing tomatoes, how to get the best compost and fertilize your garden and grow all kinds of plants. But he's not funny necessarily. He's pretty serious about what he does. Once in a while, he does crack a joke. So just know, again, this is why I like this, and it's kind of a ironic twist, is JP Sears was super serious, brought the comedy in, and really blew up. Great for him. And if you're somebody like that, that's not showing the comedic part of of who you are, and it would work for your content, totally do it. But maybe you're somebody that's trying to be funny and it's hurting you. Just know that there is tons of channels out there, tons of content creators who aren't trying to be funny and are serious about what they do, are delivering it in their own unique way, their content in their own unique way that works to their personality and the way they speak, and they're crushing on YouTube. So hopefully, if you don't believe me right now, go to our interviews, check out all these other channels, because I can tell you that even though laughter is universal and it gets a lot of attention because those videos just go viral. It's easier to share, right? You can put it on your Facebook, on your Twitter, and people are going to laugh and watch it, even if they don't care about that influencer or even think to subscribe to their channel. But other types of content aren't as shareable. So that's what I'd say to that. Chris, you have another question?
Yeah, I do. And this one actually relates to JP Sears,
Okay.
I believe, a lot, because before in JP Sears' past content, he would kind of be more serious and be like, this is what I think what my audience wants, so I'm going to be kind of more serious. But then when he got that advice from his friend, he was able to be more of his actual, genuine, authentic self and got to mix it in with his content. From GGTV, she asks or comments, I'm still trying to figure that one out. I post to all my social media platforms now. At first, I felt like I was going to be annoying my friends, but now I really don't care, and it helps out with a lot of my views. Definitely won't do that more, or definitely will do that more now. So I believe what she's trying to like say is, by not caring about what others think is the best thing to do.
Oh, so and it's Gigi. I'll just call you Gigi now, since that's what I know you as. Thank you so much for your comment, or if it's a question, but I know exactly where you're going with this. What I would ask you that's watching this, if you're in that scenario, would you rather care about what your friends and family think about you and get no views, or not care, or care about tapping into your fullest potential and succeeding at whatever it is that you are pursuing and getting millions of views? Like, which one would you want? Because there's a lot of people out there, maybe you included, that is not uploading video because you're worried about what your family's going to think, or the judgment of others, or hate, negativity, trolling on YouTube comments. Chris and I were just talking about this today. I believe Joe Rogan made the comment that Michael Jordan doesn't leave petty comments. He's not arguing with people who disagree with him. And Michael Jordan, I don't know. He's much older now. He definitely has been out of the NBA for a long time. But it's a good point. Champions do not care about what other people think. What they focus on is their craft, is their profession, is their industry, their business, whatever it is. And that is what makes them great. Now, I'm not saying you can't care about people. You still would want to care about people. But oftentimes, people that aren't willing to put in the work, that aren't willing to make the sacrifices to get to a place of success, to be able to accomplish things that other people think is impossible, are the first people that will be your doubters. One of the things I'm blessed for is all my family friends that I know of. In fact, maybe it's because of my ignorance to the ones that don't. All my family and friends that I know of, that I care about, are very supportive. And they might not be huge fans of every single video. And in fact, a lot of people don't even know I go live like this on Saturday mornings or have a channel like Video Influencers. And the point of this video or this channel isn't for them. It's for those. Now we're about to hit 500,000 subscribers. It's for all of you that are watching all over the world that do care about this. You know, your family and friends that you live with every day, or are in your community that you grew up with, it's just a small part of the world. What's great about YouTube, it lets you connect with people in Serbia. I don't know why I said Serbia. Russia, Africa, Japan, Asia, South America, Mexico, Canada, here in the United States, that have a very similar passion or love for a hobby or a interest in a topic. 6 billion people. Now, not all 6 billion are on YouTube, but 2 billion are. We know that for a fact. YouTube has announced it. So those are the people you're trying to reach, and not necessarily get them to like you, but that's who you should care about when it comes to what they think about your content. And, you know, that whole thinking about worrying about what other people thought about you, I think it's still the same 100, 200 years ago. There's no point in worrying about those people. But I believe it's aged out in its necessity, because we're no longer just living in a community that's within, what we can see, or what we can actually reach physically. We live in a global world that's connected by this thing called the internet, and we can connect with other people that have the same passion as us. So, I mean, it's so basic, but I know that it can be a struggle when you still live with these people, or they are doubters. And that's why I started this broadcast out with, do not hang out or listen to the whiners and the wimps, the people that aren't willing to go the distance, that maybe look at what you're trying to do and know where you're trying to go and doubt you and try to pull you down. The whole crab story, crabs in a bucket, they're trying to always grab that crab that's trying to get out. You need to jump out of that bucket, right? Do whatever it takes to get out of there. You know, do it with some love. Don't completely oust people or tell people they're stupid or say anything negative to ruin that relationship. You still want to keep those bridges alive. However, if they're not supporting you and they don't have the same vision as you, start connecting with people that do, that want to support you. You know, if it wasn't for Sean and I's friendship, we wouldn't have video influencers. And in fact, it's because we were friends since the very beginning when I met him in 2010 up till right now, and we had a similar passion that we were able to build video influencers part-time. Now, I never really cared what people said in the comments, what other people were saying around me. I've always had this practice that I want to be around people that have a similar passion to me, that have a positive mindset, and want to make amazing things happen in the world. And because of it, I'm ignorant to all those other things. So if you're in a place where you still care about what people think, get out of there. Escape. Chris.
Yes.
You got another one, or should I move on?
You can move forward.
All right, I'm going to move forward, you guys. So two things I wanted to bring up here that I've talked about is, number one, struggle and stress. It's okay. There's so many people that try to avoid it. They want to live a comfortable life. They don't want the negativity. They don't want the doubters and the haters to have something to doubt and hate on. Just know that all of that, just like Jordan had his struggle not getting picked to be on the high school basketball team, just like JP had 2 years of video uploading that were anywhere from 100 views to up to 1,000, 2 years before he made it big. All that is just a necessary part of success. Also, it makes the story interesting. So that was the one thing I didn't mention about Michael Jordan. Why I love Michael Jordan so much is because his story is compelling and interesting. When I think of LeBron James, now don't get me wrong, he might have had his own struggles. He might have had something going on that helped him get motivated and pumped up to be the great player he is. Don't get me wrong, he is a great player. But the reason I love Michael Jordan more, regardless of stats, is because of his story. Because of the stress and the struggles and challenges that he had to overcome. Those hurdles in his life timeline that make it interesting. Just know that all those things that you're going through are going to make you more interesting. I actually have a good friend. Her name is Lila Hart. She's a comedian in LA. She's got spina bifida. She's a little bit shorter. And she is doing stand-up. And her stories are so entertaining. And what's ironic is those stories, as she's going through it, are kind of crappy. Like, people don't want to go through the kind of things that she has gone through in her life. And if you want to follow her or check her out at a comedy bit in LA, you should definitely look up Lila Hart, because you'll hear all these stories. But the reason I bring her up, all those struggles that she's gone through are pieces of content for her stand-up comedy. In fact, it makes her stand-up comedy even more funny. But if she didn't have those negative experiences and those things that weren't desirable at the time that she was going through them, she wouldn't have the great content. In fact, almost all comedians that I love and watch, the way they're so funny is because they're talking about things they had to go through. And so sometimes we forget that what we're going through is what's making us want to quit. But think about what you're going to, not what you're going through. But know that what you're going through is part of the story, and it's what's going to make you more compelling, more interesting, and it's going to be the source of, if not content for you, this source of motivation and inspiration. You can use it as a way to deter you from getting to where you're going, or you can use it as fuel for the fire to blast you off to success. All right, Chris, I'm going to go back to you. Let's take one or two more questions before I hit the last point, and then we will move on.
Perfect. Sweet. So one of my questions right here is from It's Just Nautica. And I kind of like this question because I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. How do you know what people like if they don't let you know in the comments of your videos? I'm a new YouTuber.
So going back to what I mentioned about YouTube, as long as you're optimizing your content, so your title and your thumbnail match the content that's in it. Sometimes you might need a friend or a coworker or somebody to tell you, hey, does this all work out? Especially when you're not getting those views. So that has to happen. If that is all happening, but you're not getting the views or the feedback, then it's telling you something about your video. Maybe it's not to the standard of people to want to watch or to engage with. Second thing, maybe you just need to ask for engagement. So if you're asking for engagement and not getting something, maybe it's the content, right? Or secondly, if you're creating content but you're not asking for the engagement, it's, a lot of people watch videos, but they don't necessarily think. I believe a majority of people that watch YouTube just watch it for the videos. They never think to hit that like button. By the way, if you're loving this content today, if you're fired up, if you're feeling like you're getting unstuck, hit that like button. See what I did there? That engagement button. For reals, please hit that like button, leave a comment in the comments area. We're going to try to answer your questions even afterwards. But if you're not asking for that engagement, there's a high chance you're not going to get it, because most people just watch YouTube. I meet people all the time that don't even know that you can subscribe to a channel or wouldn't even think about it. Now, obviously, a lot of people know that one of the ways you become successful on YouTube is you have a lot of followers or subscribers, right? But asking for the like or getting the comments, the comment especially, you have to invite it. So almost all of our videos, we have a question of the day. And today's question of the day, by the way, is what is getting you stuck when it comes to your YouTube journey? And what is it that you're going to do about getting yourself unstuck or get that hurdle out of the way? Put it in the comments. Again, I just did exactly what I would suggest everybody do, which is give a call to action. That's where you're actually inviting people to do something to get that engagement. So that's what I can tell you. The thing is, as you go on and you keep asking people for feedback, make sure it's the right questions as well. Maybe the questions that you're asking, it might not be compelling for people. If you're literally just asking for a comment just for the sake of commenting, people just watch the rest of the video and move on to the next thing. So make sure you're asking the right questions. 2, make sure you're asking people for the engagement. And 3, you got to be objective and step back and ask yourself, is this content that people want to actually watch and actually engage with? All right. Chris, another question?
Yes, I have one question.
All right.
And I have a quick comment.
All right. Go ahead.
Would you watch your own videos?
Would I watch my own
No,
videos?
that's just a question to the audience for people who are
Love it.
who are wondering is
Yes.
people are always so worried about getting comments or likes or views and stuff, as myself, right?
Yes, yeah.
I'm like, oh, why is this? Why
Yes.
why that? But really, it just comes down to, would you watch your own video? If you have a 10-minute video, would you watch the whole thing? Where would you drop off, etc.? So you can learn from yourself when it comes to that. I also have a super chat from Frost Wolf Studios.
Awesome.
Saying, is it possible to have a non-commentary gaming channel and make it to the top versus a commentary gaming channel that people actually gets to know the person behind the gaming content?
Ooh, this is a good question. So one thing I'm going to mention is I'm not a gamer. Actually, I'm playing a game on my phone right now because my daughter's into this thing called Township. But outside of that, I have not actually picked up a console other than playing some Nintendo Switch with a girl once in a great while for about 10 years. But I know that gaming is huge. And so let's talk about PewDiePie, the biggest gamer and the biggest YouTuber, ironically. And he does commentary, and that's what got him so popular. But maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you want to just play games. So my suggestion to you is it's totally possible. You just have to find the way to do it. And the reason I mentioned I'm not a gamer, I'm not into the gaming world, even though I kind of know of it, is because I can't give you that answer. I don't even want to try to fake it. The one thing, though, I would suggest is if I was watching a gamer and they weren't talking, I imagine the thing that's going to make me want to watch that is the the gaming skill, the skill of that gamer. Are they crushing it in that game? Are they getting tons of points? Or they're getting through the levels quickly? Is there something about the gameplay that is extraordinary? So shooting games, right? Where it maybe, I don't even know. What's a game where there's guns in it, Chris?
There's like Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. All right. Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, all those. If there was somebody, and this is kind of getting gory, but if there was somebody that jumps into the game and they used only a sniper rifle and did headshots to 10 people in less than 10 seconds, something crazy like that, I'd want to watch that. It sounds kind of morbid, but it's because of the skill that attracts me. So going back to also the additional part of your question, which is so they can get to know your personality. I think you almost build your own personality from that epicness of your gameplay. So that's all I'd say. Hopefully that helps, but I never say never. I always say find the way to what is going to work for you. But it is going to be challenging, especially if no one's ever done it. What I like about watching successful YouTubers is they almost create the guidebook for you. Now, I don't think you should duplicate it or copy it, but you should definitely learn from it and utilize their techniques or their way of creating content to help you have a guide. But when you do, the people that are truly epic, that are doing things on a whole nother level, usually are the ones that are very unique and doing something completely different than the pack. So, all right. So the last thing I want to mention is going back to what I was talking about with JP. For those of you that haven't started yet, don't be afraid to just get it done. But for those of you that have been going for a long time and aren't getting the traction that you want, and you've uploaded for years maybe, or 100 plus, and you're getting less than 100 views, and you really, really need to make a change, you need to change it up, literally. And so I definitely mention to people when they're just starting, they're asking what I need to do, that if you haven't uploaded 100 videos yet, you won't really know. But if you have uploaded 100 and you could continue on this path, but you need to do something different. As long as you're hitting the basic principles, you're optimizing all your videos for search, you're doing the research on what people actually want to watch. You're, like Chris said, you're creating content that you would want to watch and you believe other people would want to watch. If you're doing all that, or you think you're doing all that and you're not getting views, something's got to be changed up. And that's why I brought up the JP Sears, because that was simply just taking something that he was good at, that for whatever reason he didn't think was appropriate, combining it with what he wanted to do, and he just blew up. So what can you combine with your content? Maybe there's another niche, another passion in your life that you can maybe integrate into your content to make something different. And that's what people want on YouTube. They want something specific, but they want to see something different ultimately. I believe the people that grow on YouTube the most, or people that bring something to this platform that people haven't seen. It's the way it is. And so whether it's comedy, whether it's how-to videos or reviews, just explore different avenues. And the last thing I want to mention today is for those of you that aren't doing anything, not uploading anything for whatever reason. I have a friend of mine who I won't name, but I just talked to him recently, and they've got this passion that they haven't really pursued. They talk about it all the time. In fact, they're even potentially going to quit something else they're doing to pursue this, but they're waiting for the right moment to start uploading videos. And some of you might be waiting for branding, the right graphics, maybe the right camera setup, maybe you don't have the editing software. I'm always a fan of just do it. Just start uploading content for two reasons. Number one, in the process of uploading content right now, you don't have to dedicate, a whole day to it. Just create something casual and put it up around what you are passionate about. In that process of creating content, uploading it, you can start learning about what works for you. You can start improving how you're on camera, because it's not just about being on camera. It's how you perform to the camera. You're going to start learning about optimization and keywords and tags and titles and thumbnails, all that kind of stuff. Because to expect your first video to just blow up is not realistic. That just isn't the way it happens. You know, Sean, the co-founder of Video Influencers, he's recently blew up, I'd say in the last 3 or 4 years, but he started back in 2008, 2009. And all that time, all those hundreds of videos that he edited, that he uploaded, that he's created, that was practice for the moment when he was going to blow up. And so don't stop. And then second reason you want to start uploading content is, what if you actually blow up from one of those first videos? What if you are so good on camera, you're so entertaining, maybe you're a funny person, and your personality is enough that you don't need a lot of B-roll or editing or graphics, that you being on camera talking about whatever it is you're passionate about, it is what people want to watch. So if you're stopping for whatever reason, you're not giving yourself every chance to learn, chance to improve, and chance to actually blow up and succeed right now. There are people that just have these hits right out the gates. I'm not saying that that's enough. Like, you have to do more work afterwards. But what if you could be uploading videos and your videos actually can get tons of views right now because you've already been practicing? Many of you watching have been working at a craft or in an industry or at in a hobby for decades maybe. In fact, I always bring up gardening. There's this guy in New Zealand or Australia, I forget, and it's called Sustainable Me. It's a channel about sustainability and being able to be independent from the grid. He's off the grid, I believe, and he's just a master gardener. And all he does is talk about plants, similar to John Kohler, the other gardening guy. I could watch this guy for hours. I believe I watched 4 or 5 of his videos the other day, back to back to back. It was almost about 30 minutes because he just so knowledgeable about what he's talking about. He has all the answers. Right now I'm trying to grow these epic tomato plants, and he knows everything. So maybe you know everything in that specific topic or subject matter, and you're not doing yourself justice by waiting for the moment. There is no perfect moment. Now is the moment. So the last thing I want to bring up is this, before we take a couple questions and say bye, is what will you wish you did today? What will you wish you did today? And what I mean is, we all think about this. You know, back in high school, this is what I was thinking about. In high school, if I only bought more real estate, even though I didn't have the money. But right now, if I knew, if I could go back there, I would tell my young self, like, do whatever you can to buy real estate. Even if you have to borrow from your parents, even if you have to work a few extra jobs, just do it and buy like 3 houses. You'll be set for life. But what about 10 years from now? So 10 years from now, when you look back at today, June 29th, 2019, what are you not going to do today that you're going to regret not doing 10 years from now? I don't like to live a life like that. So I don't really have anything that I feel that I'm going to regret 10 years. And if I do, I do it right now. So what is it today that you've been avoiding this last week, this last month, this whole year, maybe years, that you just need to get going? What are you stuck on that you need to get unstuck off of and just start building momentum? Uploading videos, even if they're not perfect, starting to improve your videos by taking a course or getting educated, watching more videos, or getting the right people in your life. Maybe you've been avoiding that because it's an uncomfortable situation. You don't want to say no, but maybe you need to say no so that you can start committing time and focusing on the places that are more important. That's going to get you to the places you want to go. All right, Chris.
Yes.
You got one more question for me.
I do.
All right, let's go, and then let's end this.
Alrighty. So this is actually a super chat.
All right, cool.
From
Thank you for the super
Pixie
chat.
Does Traveler for $10.
Okay.
saying, is it possible to batch travel videos, and do you have any tips for that?
All right, so repeat the question because I was checking your audio again.
Oh, that's fine.
Go ahead.
I basically just wanted to say that, or she said, is it possible to batch travel videos? And do you have any tips?
Ooh.
So batch producing your adventures.
Definitely. So what I would say is a travel video. There's many different ways. And what I think you're asking is, when you are a travel video influencer or you've got a travel channel, can you create multiple all at once? Because when Sean and I batch videos, we can literally sit there at his house or here and create 4 to 8 videos in one day and have enough content for 4 to 8 weeks. But with travel videos, it kind of requires an environment or a place. What I would suggest, especially if you really want to optimize, is instead of making one massive video, maybe you make 3 videos which highlight different parts of a city or a destination. For example, maybe one video is just talking about the food of Rome. And then the second video is all the monuments. And then the third video is the, the hotels, whatever it is. You're the travel person. You know what those are. And so you tape it all at once. You prepare yourself by having the notes ready, and as you're going to different destinations in that city, you're capturing all this content, and then at the end of your trip, you're archiving all this and separating it out so that it's well organized, it's easy to create. And yes, you can definitely batch trips, or ask yourself, maybe there's other cities nearby. For example, I'm trying to think of a place here in Seattle. Seattle is close enough to where you could realistically drive to Vancouver and drive to Portland, Oregon. So Vancouver, BC being Canada, and Portland, Oregon. Now it is a little bit of a stretch. It's a long drive, but still there's enough. Or LA, you can hit up LA and San Diego. Definitely you can batch reduce. And so it's obviously going to take a little bit more work, but you're going to utilize every trip to the max. I definitely think you always need to, especially when you're first starting out and you don't have a lot of funds. You know, one of my favorite interviews I ever did was Eric Conover, who is a crazy superstar now in the travel world. And I was able to interview him right kind of at the beginning. And so he lives in New York, so he couldn't even afford to travel. So what he did was he made travel type videos, even though he was living in New York, on his channel because he lived there. So when you talk about batch producing, let me know if that answers your question. Chris, any last words of wisdom or any super chats you want to acknowledge or give shout outs to?
Yes, I want to give some shout outs to Happy Learning, Ariza Marie, so to Lila, not Lila Hart, but a different Lila.
Aileen's Journal. Did you get that super chat? Because I want to say thank you to Aileen for that super chat.
Aileen's Journal.
There you go.
When was that? Oh, right here, $2.
$2. So
I just saw that.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for being on here. I know this was a long one. If you guys love this content, hit like. It's a little bit different than other times because usually I teach you something very specific. And today I just wanted to reconnect and get you guys unstuck, obviously, and inspire you with these stories. And just know that I've been there. Sean's been there. It is part of the process. And even after 10 years of doing this, I still feel stuck once in a while. And the number one thing I do is I just change my perspective. So I remove myself from the situation sometimes if I have to, or I think about what I'm going to regret not doing 10 years from now, or get around the people that are going to help me remind myself why I'm doing this, the goals. I have all these sticky notes here on my desk to always keep in front of me and to be a constant reminder of the places I want to go, places I want to be, the people I want to be with, and the people I want to help, so that all of the stresses and the struggles and the challenges don't seem as crazy difficult. And just know that that's what getting better and growing is all about, is that tension. on the way to where you're going. It's going to build the muscle that you need in life to get over those difficult points. All right, Chris.
Yep.
Last thought, last piece of wisdom, and then we're
Last
gonna go.
piece of wisdom, because I'm so bad at reading, looking at the camera, so I'm going to kind of put this
go
down
ahead.
and just kind of speak real quick.
Okay.
Is just,
Gotta fix your hair.
yeah, does it look good?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. So basically, if you guys are struggling or if there's anything going on, all you have to do is just, instead of thinking about how much of a problem you have, think about the solutions, because math problems don't solve themselves. A math problem is a math problem until you solve it. So
There you go.
you have to dissect your videos and where your watch time drops off. Would you watch your own video?
Yes.
Etc. So all I have to say is be a solution-based person, not a problem-based person.
There you go. Preach.
Boom.
Like we mentioned before, don't be someone that's looking for excuses. Be somebody that's creating solutions. You guys, here on Video Influencer, we're helping you build influence, income, and impact with online videos. Make sure you check out our audiobook, YouTube Secrets. Leave a comment below. And guess what? YouTube Secrets is out on audiobook. It's a very short read or listen. And I will talk to you later.